What's here, y'all? Welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, we've got a very interesting sequence on Saturday's Alabama card, and this late pick five is anchored by, of course, the Alabama. But there's some intriguing races in here, and I definitely think there's some value within this sequence. We'll start with the first leg, which is an optional claimer at 45,000, non-winners of three lifetime. Eighth race on the card. The sequence comprises races 8 through 12. Running a mile on that infamous Wilson chute that everybody loves for 3 year olds and up, New York breds. Um, it's a you've got an interesting scenario here. I think there's going to be a fair amount of pace, and the reason being is aside from the fact that you've got four horses who want to be up and near the lead who were pretty prominent. Chichabello to me is kind of the wild card here because if you look at the work tab, this horse had been coming off a career high Brisnet number and then posted some really solid works. Coming off the bench, didn't do terribly well in the first start, and that was sort of to be expected as kind of a bounce. But, the horse being pretty sharp, I don't see as a win candidate here, but I think will at least ensure that the pace is fairly lively. Get a Job is 2 for 2 at Saratoga for Steve Asperson, whose barn has cooled off a little bit, but is still going pretty well. This one is pretty logical. It's interesting, though, that they were willing to part with this horse for 20,000 against Open Company a couple back, but and then moves back into this exact same slot and gets the win next time out. So go figure. But Get a Job certainly makes a lot of sense and is a good class fit. Aggregation for Chad Brown. Normally, I would be a little nervous because he does have this one up for the $45,000 tag. But if you look over the course of Aggregation's career, this is exactly where this horse should be running. It's not a yard sale type of thing where Chad just wants to, I'm sure he'll be happy if anybody takes the horse because this one doesn't appear to be stakes caliber. But in this scenario, in this class, is definitely very viable. And everything tells me that this horse should be run his race, and if so, will likely win. And that's my pick to win at aggregation. Now, the fact that we're going to have a significant amount of pace, I think, leads me to want to find a horse is coming from off the pace to sort of counter that. And I settled on Rock the Weekend. Now, you've got connections that aren't very kind of shaky. Katie Davis is 0 for 30 at the meet, but she can do better than that, and she's due for a win. She's won on this horse before, and I think at a one-turn mile, this one coming from off the pace should be in pretty good position, and you're going to get a decent price as well. I think Katie can get this one home. Is a class fit, and I think is a good alternative to the more prominent Get a Job and Aggregation. So we'll throw Rock the Weekend in there. In what is an interesting race to say the least, but I think hopefully we can get a little bit of value home. Not too much to start the sequence. We're going to root for Rock the Weekend, but I think it's Aggregation's race to lose. The second leg of the pick five is the Skidmore Stakes. It's ungraded at 150,000, ninth race on the card, run at 5.5 furlongs on the turf for 2 year olds. And it's a turf sprint. That's tough enough, but then you throw the 2 year olds in there with quite a bit of uncertainty, and you've really got a head scratcher in some respects. The on the front end, obviously, there's going to be plenty of speed. Schwarzenegger certainly makes a lot of sense for Wesley Ward. However, this is a first-time starter, but I really like the work tab. It's your classic Wesley Ward, bullets galore. This horse clearly has some hops to him. Just the question is, the first-time starter against a little more seasoned is the issue. And there's a real big speedball in here in Monster number 3. So there's guaranteed to be a quick pace, I think. But whether or not a first time starter can withstand that and take them all the way. I'm not so sure about that. We do know that Wesley Ward's break great out of the gate, first time out, so I expect Schwarzenegger to be very prominent. But Monster is likely to be the speed of the speed. Um, was disappointing on dirt, but boy, did this one wake up moving to turf. 20 and 43 for fractions. Now that's Gulfstream. It's a little, different animal than perhaps other turf courses, but you can't deny that type of foot, and that is going to make for things to be pretty lively, I would say for sure, especially with Bobrovsky as well involved. So there's going to be pace now because it's going to be quite so quick. I don't normally, at turf sprints, we want a horse on the front end, but I just have a feeling we're probably going to get the winner coming from off the pace. And the logical is Sandal's Song. This one is following, for George Weaver, the exact same game plan as Crimson Advocate from a couple years ago. Won the Royal Palm Juvenile at Gulfstream, then went to Ascot and won. Sandal's Song finished a very solid third against some really good turf sprinters. And so I think that with the pace scenario, Sandal's Song coming from off the pace, I think things look pretty good there. Seems to have a little bit of an edge, and so that's who we're going to pick. Spirit of New York, Adam Rice and Kevin Rice, they come to Saratoga to do one thing, and that's win races. They set their horses up to be sold, and they always come lively and ready to run. Now, this one is coming off a maiden score that was pretty good, and you did have some good early foot in that one, 21 flat to start. So what I really liked about Spirit of New York was in the stretch just seemed to push that button and boom, was gone. It's logical that this horse would build off of that, and I think it's a very good sign that Adam Rice is putting Spirit of New York in a stakes race. So, especially with the lively pace scenario, I think Spirit of New York makes a lot of sense. To me, it's going to be one of those two coming from off the pace, and I'll give a little bit of an edge to Sandal's Song in the Skidmore. Third leg of the Pick 5 is, of course, the featured race, and that is the Alabama. It's a Grade 1, 10th race on the card, running a mile and a quarter for the 3-year-old fillies, and this promises to be a really cool race. You've got, it is top heavy. You only got a field of 6, but look who you've got. You've got Lacara. You've got who won the just won the Acorn. You've got Nitrogen, who's just been flawless on turf this year, now moving to dirt, and Good Cheer, who won the Kentucky Oaks, who came back off a long layoff in the Acorn with not a very good performance, and it certainly raises some question marks. It's interesting that Immersive was, after a long layoff, the same thing, and they're both from Godolphin, 2 3-year-olds that, I don't know. We've got major question marks about after such promising starts to their careers. So anyway, we'll take a look at this race. Lacara is going to be the speed of the speed. We know that. The problem is that for me is that it's a mile and a quarter. I mean, that's really the issue to me. I just can't see her getting that, taking them all the way. I mean, it could happen, but when you've got the likes of Nitrogen in this race, who I don't think will let Lacara get away, and Queen Azteca as well, I think is probably going to be prominent. I don't see Queen Azteca having any chance in this race, so why not just send and hope for the best? The others are coming from off the pace, so it is a favorable set of circumstances for Lacara. But I just don't see her. It's the distance more than anything else to me. Now, I've gone with Nitrogen in this race. I love this horse. Those of you who watch my posts, ever since the Ginger Brew, when this horse was hand rode in the stretch to win a stakes race. I mean, you never see that. That's how confident the jockey was, and that's how good this horse is. Has not disappointed even in losing. Was very ran a great race and damn near won it anyway. But that's all on the turf, right? Now we're going to dirt. Now the last race, I am not basing my decision to pick Nitrogen on the last race. That's a paid workout, won by 17 lengths in the slop. Turf horses we know can run in the mud on dirt. It's a pretty common occurrence, so it's not a surprise there, and it's not like I said, oh well, that this means this horse can run on dirt based on that race. No, the pedigree says dirt, that this horse can run on it, and is obviously training well. And I don't really think Mark Casse would put this horse in the Alabama unless he was confident she could run on dirt. There's plenty of nice checks she could pick up in turf races, um, for in the 3-year-old filly division where she just dominates. So I think this is just it makes sense from that perspective. Why not go for it at this point? She's got nothing to prove on turf, and she's just got a ton of talent and a ton of class, and I just have to believe that if she runs as well as she does on turf, she's going to win this race. I think tactically she's going to be in a good position. Should be just off of Lucara, and when they push the button, if she's got it in the tank, I think she's going to win this race. Mainly because the other runners who would be competitive all come from off the pace, and significantly so. Particularly Kinsey Queen, who I don't think is a legitimate win candidate, but will be probably sucking up for third on the trifecta. Just isn't good enough. Margie's Intention is a nice horse I like. I think she needs to get a little bit faster, but I expect her to be in good position late, and as an outside shot at an upset, but I think it is more likely for underneath. Now let's talk about Good Cheer. This horse, certainly we all know what she did on the Oaks Trail, and then won the Oaks, and surprised me because at the time, if you recall my Oaks post, I said, her numbers are a little light in comparison to some of the other more prominent horses in the Oaks, and I just wondered if maybe she had a softer road and was beaten up on cupcakes, but she proved me wrong in the Oaks and won decisively, and this is a really nice horse. But here's the problem: the Acorn, she didn't look comfortable at all. Now, it looked to me, you could say it was the wet track, but she won the Oaks on a wet track. Maybe it was a little boggier than it was in the Oaks, but she just didn't look comfortable, and she was laboring a lot, and she made the kind of move, and I talked about this on our individual post in the Alabama. She made the kind of move on the backstretch to tell me that she was just frustrated running on the track, that she didn't like, and that'll happen. They'll make like a spirited move and then just flatten dead out because they're frustrated and they can't do any better on the track. So that's enough for me to go against Good Cheer here. She just didn't run well at all, and this is back on the same track. Now maybe the fact that it's dry will help, but if I've got two short-priced horses in here, Nitrogen and Good Cheer, and I'm going to take the one I think I can make a better case for, and I think has better overall form. So I'm going to take Nitrogen, but Lucara is very dangerous. I just don't think she can get the distance. That's really my main concern. So Nitrogen in the Alabama. The fourth leg of the pick five is a claiming race. It's for 35,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime, and it's the 11th race on the card, running 1.1 miles on the inner turf for 3-year-olds and up. It's a pretty interesting race. You've got a lot of horses who are up for a claim either for the first time or are dropping in class, so it does make for an interesting race shape. I don't know that we have a whole lot in the way of speed. Kid Crease, I'm going to guess, is likely to be the speed of the speed, but this one just can't hold it, and is 0 for, I believe it's 0 for 8 at the distance. And so it's a little bit of an upgrade to Ricardo Santana in the irons, and I would consider that a positive. But overall, the track record indicates that this one just can't hold it. So we have to look elsewhere to the runners off the pace. I settled on assertiveness. I'll be honest that when I see a lot of horses going up for a claim from prominent barns, it doesn't give you a warm and fuzzy feeling. Todd Pletcher is 31% for first time into a claiming race, but it's Todd Pletcher, and when his horses go into claiming races, usually that means they can't run and they're overbet. And this is a sequence, so it's a little different animal than we were playing it individually. But this horse is, just class-wise, is pretty much above everybody else in here. Again, I have major league reservations. I mean, it's obvious that Pletcher's it's a yard sale. He's trying to unload this one, but still likely has enough talent to win this. Mogo is trained by Linda Rice, and we know what she can do first time off the claim. She's had a couple of months with this one, so she's had plenty of time to get to know this one and put in her program, and that makes Mogo very logical in this spot. There you go. Dakota Country and Landman Friday are both trained by Danny Gargan, and they're both coming in, I believe, second off the layoff. Dakota Country is a little bit a wild card, in my opinion, because he's coming in off a career high race, and a lot of the fact that it's second off the layoff, he could build off of it or he could fall back, one or the other. Certainly, if he advances off of it, he's a very dangerous horse in this race. I mean, he did it at the 40,000 level, I believe, and so it's not much of a drop, and but it is a drop. And if he can build off of it, he looks pretty good in here too. You're likely to get a halfway decent price. We don't have the morning line yet, and then Landman Friday is one that. It's still got some tread on the tire. It's only had a few races and appears to be progressing well. So, again, another one second off the layoff for Danny Gargan. Could potentially, with a move forward and maybe assertiveness doesn't quite fire at the level he's capable of, then you've got a winner at a price. So, it's a it's the temptation might be to go really short on a horse like assertiveness with the back class and whatever, but knowing what I do about claiming races, and particularly when Chad Brown or Todd Pletcher or Brad Cox, when they put horses in claiming races, it's a red flag. So we've got a spread in this one, and we definitely will. We're going to go with assertiveness. I can't say I'm overly confident about it, and that's why we'll buttress it with Mogo, Dakota Country, and Landman Friday. The final leg of the Alabama Pick 5 is, of course, the ubiquitous Turf Sprint. It's an allowance, non-winners at 2 lifetime. 12th race on the card, running 5.5 furlongs on the turf for 3-year-olds and up, New York breds. And Joe just love these turf sprints. This is another one that, I think you drive yourself crazy trying to split hairs and find the winner in this one. There's a lot of sameness, as there quite often is in these state-bred races. What I was looking for, as I've mentioned before in my posts, these type of races, I'm looking for success against open company. And I think we've got a couple just for excuse me, in that regard with On the Ledge and Courtly Panker and Pay the Juice. I think those are the ones that I think. And the other angle is, of course, for Pay the Juice, is cutting back from route to sprint is always a good angle. Shug's not doing too well at this tournament, but at the meet. But with all the early speed and the race, the key race before this with our On the Ledge and Courtly Banker came out of was a completely wide open race, just like this one. And many of the players in here were in that one. So it's really who's going to get the trip. I'm just going to go with the horses coming from off the pace on the route to sprint angle because I can't see where any front runner has an edge over any other. And so we're just looking at ones who have the better form. On the Ledge and Courtly Banker look to have better form uh, than quite a few of these. And then as a wild card, we're going to throw in Sir Cartwright. Uh, and, it's hard to really make a case for this horse, except for the fact that Jeremiah Englehart is going well. And when he puts a Rat Ortiz on a horse, they're at 100%. That's it. So it's just kind of a flyer. This horse does have some pretty good form prior, but the last two against Older on dirt have not been very good. So obviously they're trying to kickstart this one again, and we'll just kind of hope that uh, that turf maybe does the trick. You're likely to get a price. You do pay the IRAD tax, but I still don't think this one will be terribly short. So this is definitely a spread race to end the sequence, and honestly, there's cases to be made for quite a few in here, but I'm taking the ones that I think are in the best form and pay the juice. I'm kind of going on the route to sprint angle, trying to find something to separate one horse from the others. But this is a tough one, and we will spread in the sequence for sure. So let's take a look at our ticket. So we take a look at our ticket for the Alabama late pick 5, and you're going to see that in leg 1, race 8, we're going to, I think it's a choice between the two front runners, Get a Job and Aggregation, but I want to throw Rock the Weekend in there as well because I do think a horse is going to have a shot off the pace, and Rock the Weekend probably going to get a price. So as sort of a spoiler preventative kind of measure. Leg 2, race 9, I think it's either the 2 or the 8. The Skidmore, that promises to be a pretty good race. 2-year-old's very unpredictable, but we'll go with the George Weaver trainee. But the Spirit of New York is very interesting, and so I don't think can be ignored. So we're going to throw two horses that'll be coming from off the pace in what I think is going to be a very contested early pace. Leg 3, the Alabama, we're going to single nitrogen. We're going for it, and if we're wrong, we're wrong, because otherwise what are we going to do? We have to. We're going to blow up our ticket by throwing in Good Cheer and Licara as well. I don't want to do that. We're just going to plant our flag, keep it reasonable. I think there's some value to be had in this sequence. If we get nitrogen home, I think we've got a good shot. Leg 4, race 11, we're going to go with 1, 2, 5, and 7. That's race I think I'm probably is the shakiest confidence-wise, just because of the nature of taking a Todd Pletcher in a claiming race. Really, that's what it comes down to more than anything else. So we'll add some extras in there, but I think one of those has a good shot at getting it home. Then finally in leg 5, race 12, we're also going to spread 4, 5, 8, and 10. We're going to go with Pay the Juice, runner coming from off the pace. We've got 2 turf sprints in this sequence, so that makes for a whole lot of fun. You definitely have to spend maybe a little extra than we want, but I do think there is some value to be had here. So that's 3 times 2 is 6, times 4 is 24, times 4 is 96. It's a $96 ticket on a $1 base, but I think there is some value to be had, and hopefully we can get it home. Hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy, and I wish you the best of luck as always. And certainly, if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And also check out our website, rightatthewire.com, where we will have our Saturday selections for Saratoga available if you're so inclined. We're also on X, and we've been getting some good... we've had some added traffic on X lately, and it's wire_right, RIGHT, for X. So if you want to take a look at us there, we do post. I will put some posts there that aren't necessarily on YouTube, so you can take a look there and for some added content. So we're all over the place, but right at the wire. Plenty more content coming. We're gonna have the King's Plate when the PPs come out. We'll tackle that. So be on the lookout for that posting. It's usually a big field, and there's usually a lot of really nice value. So we'll post for that as well on request from one of our loyal subscribers. So I hope you'll look forward to that. That's it from here. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.